The 1157 bulb, a tried and true bulb since 1938 or so. Still being used today, but let's be honest, it's not quite bright enough for today's lighting. So there's a lot of different options that you can use to replace this with LEDs, and I'm going to explain to you why the Fang Turn Signal Insert from Ciro is your best bet. This is Darren. He designed the Fang Turn Signal Insert. He's going to go over some of the other variations that you can get now and why you're going to want the Ciro version. Darren?
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, the 1157 bulb, been around for a long time, like Ken said. A lot of motorcycles still have them, and they always have a lens that goes in front of it. Amber in the front, red in the rear. It's the same bulb. They get hot, they burn out, and they're not very bright. To solve those problems, probably in the 1950s did LEDs come out. And this is one of the alternatives. This is an LED board that plugs in the same way as the 1157. Not a bad idea, but some of the manufacturing of this is not great. They have potential to break loose on the back and get water intrusion, and that's what causes the LEDs to fail. Moving forward, probably to the 1990s, you have something called chip-on-board LEDs. Vast improvement over the old ones from the 50s. But you can see this one still has the same type of wiring on the back. Not a bad design overall, but this wiring will not last because this floats inside of your turn signal housing and buzzes and moves around, causing these wires to fail. Another alternative is an LED board like this that screws in the same way as that 1157 bulb. These are very difficult to install and even more difficult to remove. They also don't have any kind of weather sealing. So not only rain, but just condensation can damage these LEDs and cause them to burn out, and they're difficult to replace. You have to replace the whole unit, and they're hard to get out of the light. Moving on from that technology, there's some designs that incorporate a little bit more design features into the light, like these. These have a separate seal that goes into an OE-style lens. They're kind of difficult to install, difficult to assemble, and they also have wiring on the back that can be problematic, and the circuitry on the back of the board is not sealed properly. So we're seeing improvements as we move along, but we're still not at a place where we'd really like to be. Here's another design that incorporates a lens inside a bezel, but it still has the same issues on the back. Exposed circuitry, wires, and there's even a warning on here that says do not pull on the wires. Understandable, but really not ideal for long-term reliability.
And if you're going to be installing any of these, the first thing you're going to do is you have to fit this in that little housing. You're going to turn the wires and pull on them and do stuff, and what you end up with those wires that now you've compromised that connection, and exactly. As it buzzes around inside of there, it can break. So as you're sitting at the stoplight when you really need to know that these are going to be working, whether it's someone coming on looking for a flash or someone behind you, worst case yet with a brake that doesn't work, do you want to trust yourself in your safety to this little wire? I don't think so. So when you move on to the Fang turn signals, I'll have you on the back side, you can see there's a lot more robust wire protection.
Yeah, when we started this project, we obviously wanted to solve all of these issues. You know, 1157 gets hot, these have wiring issues. There's something with each one of them that we wanted to address with this design. The first thing we wanted to look at was durability. How can we make ours the strongest and longest lasting light? Second would probably be brightness. We wanted them to be extremely bright, but we also wanted to make sure we were DOT approved. There's regulations in the DOT that talk about different focal distances, different lens angles, all of these different factors we wanted to design into this light. So I'll start with that first one. What we've done on our light is we've actually got it potted into an epoxy. So the wires go in through the epoxy, through an aluminum heatsink board that protects the circuitry, and then attaches to the circuits inside. It's impenetrable. and it's completely sealed. You can put these underwater, you can put them in hot water, and they will not fail. They plug in the same way as the 1157, because again, when something works that well, you don't change it. Moving on from the way our circuitry was engineered, we're looking into the optics. We knew we wanted a light that would glow around the outside edge on the front and the rear of the motorcycle. So we have LEDs around the perimeter. And then where our design got really interesting is in the center of the light. We put 4 high-intensity bright LEDs in the center with optics that are actually focused out at a distance the way the DOT requires. These lights actually get brighter as you walk away from them. They're focused at 40 feet. Very, very bright light on the turn and brake circuit. Also bright on run, but especially those signal circuits really come alive.
And one other thing I'd like to say too, we looked at the design of it. It's crowned in the center, as you can see there. You can see that it's pointed in the center and it comes out a little bit. It's not just for style, you guys. This is so you can see from the side. So if you're looking directly on the side of one of these lights on a motorcycle, you're still getting light, where if you look at something like this directly from the side, you're getting nothing. So it actually adds some more safety, some visibility, because you can see from a much sharper angle from the side. It's just as bright. You'll also see, especially with this style of light, the 90s and 80s style of LED light, as soon as you've moved off center, you've lost 50–60% of your brightness. These maintain the brightness all the way around, and that's part of the DOT regulations that we had to make sure we followed.
And that's why our optics look the way they do. They spread that light and focus it where it needs to be, rather than just looking intense when you look at it. It's intense when you're in a car behind it. We have red lenses, obviously, for the rear. We have clear lenses for the rear and smoke lenses for the rear. Easy to identify because all the rear lights have a red wire. The front lights have an amber wire to match the amber turn on the front of the motorcycle.
And let's talk about this one, because this doesn't look like an 1157, because of course it's not.
Yeah. Harley-Davidson switched to this style connector in mid-2000s on CVOs. And they're still using that same connector on CVO motorcycles. So this allows you to plug directly into that without any wiring.
So with that being said, now, if you need to know more about this, go to Ciro3D.com to learn about the fitments and whatnot. If you're a dealer, when I recommend you guys go to your local dealer and ask for Ciro Fang Turn Signal Inserts, of course. If you're a dealer, look at the packaging you're going to get in comparison. So, you know, a lot of people are ordering online. This is what you get. You get a little white box that's taped up with no names on it, or a bag. Or these came in a baggie just like that. I didn't rip this. This is the way they came. So we offer a limited lifetime warranty on all the LEDs. So if you ever have a problem with an LED that we sell, whether it's the Fang Turn Signal Insert or any of our other lights, you just give us a call and we'll take care of it. And we can do that because we stand by the quality that we've put in. Automotive grade LEDs, the best manufacturing processes, our quality control and checking is above and beyond, and our customer service beats everybody. So when you put those all together, the Ciro Fang Turn Signal Insert is your best bet for extra lighting on the front or rear of your Harley-Davidson.